Hey guys, Justin with Ready Business Systems, and today I'm going to go over this free paper timesheet for use with Service Autopilot to verify the hours. Basically what happens is, as you start to use Service Autopilot, you're going to depend on the technology. You're going to let them use their tablets or their cell phones out in the field to clock their hours. But pretty soon you're going to realize that it's not perfect, people aren't perfect, technology isn't perfect, and you really need this information very accurate. If you bill hourly, or even if you don't bill hourly, you need to know how long you're spending on properties and make sure they're profitable so you have accurate data. So the solution to this is having a paper backup copy. I'm not a fan of wasting paper, but I'm not a fan of losing money either. So we created these paper timesheets for use with SA. The crews each have a stack of these that they keep in their truck. They print it double-sided, so one piece of paper per crew per day that they're required to turn in at the end of each day, or they don't get their paycheck. So essentially, I'll show you how these work. The crews, so usually what we do is the driver's usually using their phone because they need to navigate with it as well, and the passenger is trained to fill this out. So what they do is at the end of the day, it tells them where to leave it. This is going to be a Word document, so you can edit however you want. The crew color, they're going to circle which crew. We use colored crews, who they're working on, which crew they're working with, so you know who it is, date. We have a morning checklist. We used to do these with forms in SA, but we just found it's easier to do it on a piece of paper because you can make forms pop up on the mobile. But again, I just decided that it's a lot easier to do it on a piece of paper. You can customize these checklists, just basic checklists. So here, the instructions here are for the admin. So basically this part is for keeping the pay hours for each employee. And this section down here is for time tracking on jobs for making sure the company's profitable. So right here is an example. Myself and Nathan worked together. We both clocked in at 8 o'clock for the day. We clocked out for lunch at noon, got back from lunch at 12:30 and clocked out at 5 p.m. So these are for pay hours for the for payroll purposes only, because we don't charge our customers for this. It includes their unbillable time. There's a spot here for initials, so you can select who, just to verify there's no discrepancy over it. Mostly here, obviously I can verify my own hours, but whoever's working under you should be verifying, that their hours are correct. And what we do is the instructions for the administrator is that if it's more than 5 minutes, change it. Otherwise, just let it be. It's still good to keep the digital copy because most of the time they're just reviewing it rather than manually entering it. It's a lot more time consuming if you have to enter everything. But usually your guys have been working for a while, know what they're doing, but the new foremen and stuff, they're a little sloppy, that you might not have gotten the chance to get the tablet set up for them, to give them a login to SA and all that stuff. But we always like to have these paper copies. It's made our record keeping much more accurate. So down here, this is for billing purposes, and it tells you right here where to check it. So accounting timesheets, she's gonna check the hours. And down here is a dispatch board, is where you check the times for these jobs. You can also check it from the client's account, but it's a lot easier to check it from the dispatch board. Again, she only changes it if it's more than 5 minutes discrepancy. So here we're gonna put the customer address, services performed, who did it, time you started the job, time you stopped the job, if you use any materials, if you do use that for billing. And there's sections here for the office she records that she checked the hours and she files them away, that she verified the hours in SA. So there's some accountability there. If we do another service of the house, spring cleanup, say that out before lunch they basically did the gardening, and then after lunch they did the spring cleanup. Are there from after lunch to the end of the day, and the reason why they clocked it out at 5 is because they drove from they finished the job and they drove back to the shop. So that's enough for a bunch of jobs for the day. Again, it fits perfectly in 2 pages. And then they have a clock out checklist. We keep track of debris disposal for billing, where we, just the way we do it. You can change any of this stuff. Clock out checklist, just make sure the dump body's raised, truck interior, blowing off the equipment, etc. And initials, there's accountability for the foreman. So that's the spreadsheet. I'll show you how it works in SA. So here we are on the timesheet. So this is the schedule for the day. This is all made up for this video. We have a dummy customer, January 1st. We worked here, and what she would do is check the hours. So here's dummy customer, and we're going to check the clock. This is the gardening service. So we're going to click. One important thing, make sure that you have this closeout day checked off so you can see these clock icons. If you don't see them, it's because you don't have the closeout day checklist clicked off. So the gardening they did first, so let's check on the time. So clearly they did not do a good job recording times because it said they were there from 11:17, and Loretta wasn't there, so you can delete this. And Nathan was there from 11:17 to 11:23. Well, you know what? That's not right. So we're going to go back over here, and we're going to go to Nathan. Or sorry, he was gardening. So we're going to do this part first, I guess, because we're starting on the dispatch board. He was there from 8:30 until noon. Sorry, this is him here. He was from 8:30 till noon. He was gardening. So I'm going to go back to the dispatch board. I'm going to change this from 8:30 to 12 o'clock p.m. And then I'm not even listed in here. So we're going to add myself, Justin Woodford. And I was also there from 8:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. Again, you only have to do this if they're not recording it properly on their own. So we're going to save this. And now we know that the records on this job are correct. 2 men, work 3.5 hours. It's going to be billed properly. If you don't bill hourly, you're going to have this data when you do your price audit at the end of the year. So I would put my initials here for the gardening if I checked it. And we do this on a piece of paper. I'm just doing the computer, obviously, so I can show you. Spring cleanup. So again, 12:30 to 4:30. So go over here. We're going to click this little clock icon. It's not right because it says I was there from 11:18 to 11:19. They would not get billed properly, or you'd have wrong data for how long things took. So we did the spring cleanup from 12:30 to 4:30. So I'm going to put that in. It's going to be 12:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And Nate was there as well. Okay, 12:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. All right. So that did not have a save button for some reason. I don't know what's going on. If I refresh the page, it would work. It's SA doing its glitch thing, but I'm not going to fix that again. So we're going to pretend that went in correctly, and we're going to check this off. JW. So this part is correct for making sure that the hours are recorded properly. Here, the timesheets, we went to accounting timesheets. And here, these guys don't know how to use the tablet. They didn't clock in their time for the day. We're under my name, and I have no time for this day. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a timesheet entry. And these have to be entered twice, one before lunch and one after lunch. So we're going to do select work type as clock in out from 8 o'clock a.m., work till 12 o'clock p.m. And usually we have the office put a note in here, manual entry, so we know that that was corrected by the office. That's going to add a time log, 4 hours. We're going to have to add a second time log. I'll click this plus icon, clock in out, and we're going to do 12:30 p.m. Until, I think it's 5 o'clock p.m. I think that's right. Manual entry, save. So you'll be able to see that they weren't paid for their lunch break because they worked from 8 to 12 and 12:30 to 5. So these pay hours are correct. So you would go in here, put initials. This was verified by the office, and you would do the same for Nate here. So that's how this paper timesheet is designed to work, just double checking. It does take time, but as you can imagine, if all you did was go in here and it was already right, you'd look at this, be like, yep, mark it complete. But it's essential to keep your hours right. You could lose thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars if you're not doing this and you're just letting the numbers go on the computer and not checking them. So I hope you guys found this spreadsheet useful. Any other questions, visit the website, readybusinesssystems.com, or comment below. Thank you.